Hi there everyone, and welcome to an episode of Audi Outdoors. Today I'm going to explain to you guys the benefits of having a velomobile, because a lot of people ask me, what's the point of a velomobile? Why would you want to ride a velomobile over an upright bike? And today, to kind of show the comparison, I brought my Brompton along, and this is the Brompton C-Line. And the reason why I brought the Brompton with is because it could fit inside my cargo trailer that I tow behind my bulk. So I can just ride to this location with my velomobile, pulling my cargo trailer behind it, which is currently behind the camera. So let's get started off with the number one thing, and that is the velomobile is a lot more comfortable than an upright bike. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the term upright bike, it's a common term that recumbent riders use to refer to these types of bikes where you have a saddle and you have your hands out in front. We call them upright bikes because you're sitting upright. Now these are recumbent bikes. And this is actually a velomobile, but it has a recumbent bike position. And recumbent riders are also known as bent riders, and people who ride velomobiles are also called velonauts. So for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to refer to this as an upright bike, and this is going to be my velomobile. So this is the Bulk Mark 1 velomobile, and that's the Brompton C-Line. So start out with the recumbent position in the velomobile is a lot more comfortable than being on an upright bike. I mean, when you look at this seat here, it's a very small seat and you're perched upon it and you have a very small area, and that creates a lot of pressure points underneath you. And you have your hands up here on the handlebars straight out in front. Now this is a folding bike, so the back tire is folded, keeping it upright. But your hands are out here, out in the wind, out in the cold, and everything. So another thing that makes a velomobile more comfortable than an upright bike, other than the seating position, is going to be weather protection. So today it's a little bit breezy. It's about 35 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's a bit cold to be riding an upright bike in these temperatures, in my opinion, because especially if you have your hands out in front, your hands are going to be frozen in no time in this temperature. This keeps the wind off you in the wintertime when you close off all the vents. And you can open up all those vents in the summertime to let more airflow in to cool you down while you're riding. You can also remove this part, which is called the hood. So this whole part that flips up here is actually removable all the way down to here. I run this in the wintertime to trap in my heat, because as you ride, your body generates heat. Your body generates heat, and the shell traps it in. And unlike an upright bike, your arms are also out. So like if you look at an upright bike, you're out like this. You're getting all this airflow under your armpits, which is cooling you down even more, which is something you really don't want to happen in colder weather. The velomobile, it's more like this, and the handlebar is on your chest and on your stomach area, and you kind of control it with one hand if you want, while you put the other hand in your pocket. You shift, control, brake, and everything with one hand in the velomobile. This, you can see up front here, it requires two-hand operation, one for the front wheel, one for the back wheel. It's got a shifter on the right over here, and it's got a shifter on the left over here. And that's because this is a 6-speed. In the back, it's a 2-speed external, 3-speed internal hub. So another benefit of having the velomobile is the weather protection from the elements. So this comes in handy really when it's raining, when it's windy out, when it's snowing, when it's sleeting, hailing, etc. You get all this extra protection from the elements here, where you're not getting rained on, you're not getting snowed on. On this bike, I'm gonna have to wear a lot more layers than when I'm riding inside this velomobile. And like on the ride here, is a short ride over, I actually started getting warm on the ride here, pulling this behind me. And I actually took off my coat. I just have a t-shirt on under this, and these are just sweatpants. I started getting hot in these. But if I was on this, my hands would be basically frozen by the time I got here. Another thing that the velomobile has a benefit of is aerodynamics. Everyone wants to know, is this faster than an upright bike? It's more efficient. It should go faster for less effort because it's more efficient at cutting through the air, if that makes sense. Now, some of the drawbacks to this, I'll get to at the end of the video, of what makes it slower and where an upright bike can actually be better than this. So another thing that the velomobile offers that an upright bike doesn't offer is storage capacity. So inside here, I actually have storage bins off to the side here, and off to the side over here, this little bulge here. That's all storage behind the seat inside here. It's all storage behind the seat. So you have all this storage behind the seat back here, and you can put a lot of stuff back there. This thing also has a little tray in here, and I'll show you guys that a little bit later. It has a little tray back there. You put your wallet, your keys, your extra camera batteries, etc. in there, all your small stuff. And it's really good for storing stuff and transporting stuff. On top of that, I actually have the trailer hitch option on this, where it has a trailer hitch back here, and my cargo trailer can hitch to that. And you've seen my cargo trailer in a couple other videos, and I'm using the cargo trailer today to pull the Brompton here. So that makes it pretty good for touring, because you don't need any extra bags or anything. It's just ready to go straight out of the factory. So with upright bikes, you can attach pannier bags, you can put a rack on there, but this already comes with all that. Another thing velomobiles are better than upright bikes for is safety. Which one of these do you think you're going to be more likely to notice on the road without any lights? You're going to notice this thing. Look how big this thing looks. Even though it sits low to the ground, it looks freaking wide. It's long. You know, I got this in fluorescent orange on the top, or orange on the top, because the orange stands out in most situations, except for in construction zones. And blue is my favorite color. That's why I got blue on the bottom. But blue is basically invisible on the road, so I had to have orange on top. Now, I believe the orange on top also helps deflect some of the heat in the summertime, so it actually makes your ride a little cooler depending on what color you choose for the top color. Now, for Brompton, I got it in that burnt orange because I thought it looked cool like that. But the velomobile also comes with turn signals, brake lights, headlights. For this bike, you have to buy all that. It doesn't come with any turn signals. You're using hand and arm signals, you know, brake or stop, stopping, you know, behind your back, stopping. You know, you're using all those hand signals, and you have to take your hands off the bars, and these are really narrow bars and they're hard to control. Now, the Bulk has narrow handlebars, and velomobiles in general have narrow handlebars, and they're very easy to control. It's just the way they're designed. And like I said, with this thing, you could brake with one hand, and it has a brake on each wheel on the front, and it's just one lever that controls both wheels. And it has this motorcycle visor on here, which keeps stuff out of your eyes. And even if you don't have this closed, this little angle here pushes bugs and stuff up over your face. So you're not getting wind and bugs blowing in your face most of the time. Now, I leave this open sometimes just for ventilation, to clear out the side windows. But when it's snowing and stuff, I just close that. And you can close it from the inside. It has a little knob here that you can control from the inside. It also has this NACA duct in the hood that you can open and close, and that just kind of helps put fresh air right in your face. Another benefit to the velomobile is because it traps all your heat inside. Now, because it traps all your heat inside, it also traps all the humidity inside coming off your body, because as you're pedaling, you're sweating. And it's not evaporating as easily in the velomobile with all the vents closed. So you have a more humid, warm environment inside there. It's about 10 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than the outside temperature. Now, if you've ever ridden or ran in the wintertime, you'll get that burning sensation in your lungs where they feel like they're on fire, and you get that like taste of blood eventually when you're working harder. And you don't get that in a velomobile because it's trapping all the warm, moist air inside instead of you breathing in just the cold outside air. Now, you can breathe in just the cold outside air if you remove the hood, you open up all your vents. You can still do that if you want to, if that's what you prefer. And honestly, when I remove this hood, it has such a big opening here that it's like riding an open trike. So for those of you who like the open feeling of a recumbent trike, the Bulk Mark I is actually pretty good for that. Compared to the Quest XS, which has a really small opening, the Bulk has a really big opening. And I'll show you guys that in a little bit. But now to kind of get to some of the downsides to where a velomobile doesn't come in handy versus a bike like this. So the velomobile is a large bicycle. There's no denying that it's a large bicycle. Because it's a large bicycle, that makes it a little bit harder to transport it in the back of a vehicle. Like even like larger SUVs, it doesn't fit in the back of. You basically need a minivan or something to transport it, or you need to put it on top of your car and strap it down, or you can put it in the back of a pickup truck. Whereas an upright bike like this, you can just fold it up, put it in the back of your car, you know, even a road bike, take the wheels off, throw it in the back of your car, and you're good to go. The velomobile is a little bit harder to transport. Another place where an upright bike is going to outshine a velomobile, the velomobile weighs about 52 pounds. This bike weighs about 20-25 pounds. A normal road bike weighs about 14.5-15 pounds. So because this is so much heavier than an upright bike, because you have, you know, obviously this big carbon fiber shell around it, it's going to be a lot harder for you to go up steeper hills than it would be on a lighter bike, because it's a lot more weight that you're going to have to get up there. So for the same power, you're going to be going slower. There's a couple situations where a velomobile can actually be faster than an upright bike going up a hill, and that's when you get a running start with the velomobile. Because it's so aerodynamic, you can actually go faster approaching a hill, and then when you go up the hill, you put out a lot of power and just punch it up there, up a short hill, you could probably beat an upright bike up a short hill. So another drawback to the velomobile is that because it's made of carbon fiber, it's painted carbon fiber, any scratches, anything on there, it's going to be pretty expensive to repair, and it's very hard to find a repair facility to work on your velomobile and repaint it, fix the damage, etc. At least do it properly. Well, someone will just do a carbon fiber patch and you get just like a little bulge over there, and it just doesn't look good. So that's another thing that's a drawback to this. So finding repair facilities for a carbon fiber velomobile is going to be a lot harder than it would be for a bike that was made of carbon fiber. And the reason why is because the velomobile takes up a lot of shop space, so it makes less space for them to be able to fit other bikes. Same goes for regular bicycle shops. Regular bicycle shops are not going to want to have your velomobile in their shop because it takes up a lot of shop space. And if they do put it in their shop, it's probably going to get scratched by their other bikes if they stack them right next to each other. I mean, there's not really many cons to the velomobile. I'm just trying to think of them. I mean, I really like the velomobile. It's not really the bulk isn't really that comfortable for me. It's not as comfortable as my Quest XS Carbon, but the bulk is more comfortable than an upright bike. You're not going to get saddle sores. You don't need any padding on your shorts. You don't need any special chamois or anything like that. You don't need to wear as many layers when you have everything closed off inside here in the winter time. You can just wear regular clothes when you ride a velomobile. It's simple as that. On here, you know, you try to ride like 4 hours long on a bike like this, and you're going to have a sore butt. You're going to need chamois. You're going to need gloves. You're going to need all this extra stuff. And this, you can carry all your layers behind your seat. This, you can't really carry anything anywhere. So, but now to kind of show you guys around the bulk. So I'm going to go ahead and open up this hatch. I'm going to grab the camera, just kind of show you guys around. So this is the opening here. All right, so another benefit the velomobile has is that the chain is completely enclosed. So that means that you can ride on gravel all day and the chain doesn't get dirty. Whereas you can see this chain on here is very dirty even after like a couple rides on gravel. I mean, not cleaning it after every ride. I go about 1,000 miles between lubing the chain on my velomobile. And after about 2,000 miles, I usually just replace the chain because it's a 12-speed drivetrain, and you should probably it's better to replace your chain sooner rather than later. I do have a chain wear indicator, and usually it is worn around 2,000 miles. Another thing about the velomobile is the tires. These could all be removed and changed without removing the wheel. And that's because it's all single-sided axles. So even the rear has a single-sided swing arm. So you can take the rear tire off, you can take both front tires off without removing the wheel. On an upright bike, you have to remove the wheels to change the tires or fix a flat or something like that if you're not running tubeless and have some sort of sealant in there to fix the flat. So that's one of the other positives of riding a velomobile is flats are easy and quick to repair. So I run tubes in my velomobile, and that thing also has tubes in it. That's why I like the velomobile over an upright bike. But that's all for today. Thanks for watching.